1440M, 92.1 FM, your native radio station, right here in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. And folks, this morning we're very blessed this morning that we have somebody that's visiting us from Hilo, Hawaii, one of my favorite places to visit, by the way. Nice, sleepy town that just produces all these great people that come and work all over the islands, and they take care of islanders over there in Hilo. And we have Miss Denise Leitonen. Did I pronounce it right?
Yes, Hafade.
Hafade and Aloha. It's Aloha Friday right here. All right, and we also got folks from the fire department here. Ton, good morning, Ton. Jocelyn, good morning.
Morning.
Jay, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Jay, tell us about the program and tell us what brought this program here and how did we get involved in before we turn over to Denise.
Good morning. We have this forest program.
Okay.
As a forestry wildland firefighters need
Right.
to involve fighting fires in mainland
Mhm.
during wildland fires.
Right.
It's been going on for almost 15 years,
Mhm.
and currently we have this wildland urban interface fire, we
Okay.
call it movie,
Mhm.
and we well, what we did was we went to these places where there's always fires.
Mhm.
We identified those places,
Those
Suzuki
areas, yeah.
and
Mhm.
Sarata. And then we worked with Denise
Mhm.
from Hawaii to help us in a new program called Firewise.
Mhm.
So we are starting,
Right.
and this is our first step in working out with community members. So
Nice. Well, welcome, Denise. Appreciate you coming and visiting us all here in the Western Pacific.
Aloha, and thank you for having me today.
Appreciate it. Tell us about Firewise organization and what do you folks do and where are you guys located at and what areas do you cover?
Well, Firewise is a national program. Its headquarters is actually in Massachusetts on the east coast of the U.S., but there are Firewise communities. There's more than 1,028 Firewise communities throughout the entire U.S. I manage the program for all of Hawaii. I'm based on Hawaii Island, which is known as the Big Island, you know. And Firewise is a public-private partnership that works with communities and works with developers as well as firefighters to help communities reduce their overall wildfire risk. Firewise believes that wildfire issues are not just a firefighting problem,
Right.
not just a homeowner problem, they're a community problem, and so by working together, everybody doing their part, they can reduce their risk to wildfire.
All right, and wildfires for us over here, we have a lot of rain, so we have a lot of greenery all this. It's less of a risk, but nevertheless, it's still a risk.
It's still a risk, and you know, that's an excellent point. For instance, I live in Hilo, Hawaii. We get about 135 inches of rain a year, but when we don't get rain, I, for instance, live out in the Kuna district, when we don't get rain and we have drought, then we really have serious wildfire issues. And what happens is that here too, it looks green on top, but it's dried out underneath, yes? The grasses are dried out underneath. So I was invited here by CNMI Fire. I conducted week-long training. That's what a lot of what I do is community outreach, working with community groups. I also train firefighters, and then I also work with builders and developers about building fire-safe homes to begin with. So I've conducted a week-long train-the-trainer program for our local firefighters here. And so they, in turn, have the tools to go out into the community, work with the community, and help the community in the future with identified wildfire areas on Saipan.
All right, and some of the places over in the Big Island in Hilo is pretty dry. I mean, on the Big Island, not in Hilo, but more towards Kona side.
Yeah,
it's pretty
especially
dry.
on the west side. Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I live on the Big Island, because I actually lived on Maui beforehand, and I do so much work on the Big Island that I moved over there about 9 years ago. I've been doing this for 12 years. Firewise is a national program. It was created in 1985, so almost 30 years old. It works with communities around the country, so it's very active in states all over the U.S., including Hawaii, because in Hawaii, like Saipan, we have native plants and animals that are endangered and unique to our island ecosystem, And when we lose them to wildfire, we lose them forever.
Right. And some of the things that you do you deal with policy issues or just deal with public awareness issues, and what are the other issues that you deal with? Examples of programs that you have successfully implemented in the Big Island?
Oh,
Because it's pertinent to us because of the top, the greenery.
Exactly, and in fact, your show's not long enough to describe,
Okay.
for me to describe all the projects. For instance, I work with a community called Kohala by the Sea. They were just recognized for being 10 years as a nationally recognized
Okay.
Firewise community. They got grant money to reduce overgrown brush in their community. They do community work days. I teach workshops with them. I also have written fire plans for other communities. So for instance, in Volcano, after I conducted hazard assessments and conducted workshops, they then went out and did a chipping program where they chipped overgrown brush in their community. There's so many different things that I do. A lot of education. I've trained every recruit class in the fire department on the Big Island for about the past 10 years now. And just working with community, every community is different, so how they respond is different. Some people have created fuel breaks and created a 30-foot or 100-foot fuel break around the community. Some people do brush abatement by getting rid of brush, for instance, getting rid of overgrown brush in a gully. Other folks have decided to do pine needle pickup projects. For instance, I made a video with Maui Fire Department where we made a home Firewise and we cut down some ironwood trees that were dropping pine needles on the roof, causing a fire hazard. So just broad spectrum of projects. And Firewise.org, the national website, has a whole section just on project ideas that communities can implement. So if you're wondering what to do, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to be Firewise, you can go to firewise.org. There's all different kinds of projects, and I think Jay has some projects lined up with the fire department or outreach campaigns that they want to do here locally on Saipan.
Yeah, and when the fire happens, it's too late to start a Firewise project. Now is the time to start it.
Exactly.
So folks, our fire department's right on top of things, and getting the Firewise group out here and also training our folks to get up to speed, if you will, on that, and it's going to be a great program. Anyways, we're going to take a short pause. We'll play some music and we'll come back. We got a PSA contest that went on last week, and we'll be sharing that with you this morning. All right, we'll be right back. Good morning, everybody.